Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please feel free to go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out. And on today's episode, we're going to be picking back up on part 6 of our center console build. So stick around if you'd like to see how I do it. Alright guys, so the first thing that we're going to be doing on this part right here is we're going to be sanding down the sides of this just a little bit on each side of our pieces that click into the magnets right here. With the new fabric that we just put over it, it's a little bit narrower, so this it fits, but it's kind of snug. So we're going to take this down a little bit on each side on all the pieces until we get a nice fit like we want again, and then we can start covering these up and getting them taken care of. Alright guys, so we got all the panels fit back into here. So now we're going to be taking them one by one, and we're going to be wrapping these so we can insert them into here. Alright guys, so we got all of our pieces laid out and painted black right here. And now the next step is we're going to go on ahead and wrap these. Now, in order to wrap these, I'm not going to be using the same material that I used to wrap the console. For this, I've decided to go on ahead and try something that I've never really done before, but I'm pretty excited to check it out right here. So I went ahead and I picked up a roll of some carbon fiber. So we're going to be trying our hand at some carbon fiber right here, pretty much. So we need this black in case there's any gaps in the weave right here, so it doesn't show through anything. But we're gonna get these trimmed out right here, and then I've got some epoxy resin and some hardener that we're gonna be giving a shot with this right here. So we'll see how it works. I've never done this before, so it may work out great, it may not, but I figure why not give it a shot. So that's what we're gonna be trying here. So from what I've been reading and watching, when you go to cut this this roll of carbon fiber right here, if you don't put a piece of tape down, it'll start to fray on the edges. So kind of like that right there, which we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put a piece of tape down, and then I'm going to go on ahead and trim it right in the middle of the tape to try and keep it all together here. Now this first part of the epoxy that I'm mixing up and applying, this is what's called the tack coat. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay the carbon fiber on top of this after it gets a little bit tacky, and then that'll be our first coat, and we'll let it sit for about 24 hours. Now that I have the tack coat on and all the pieces are on there, I'm going and I'm taping the back of them to kind of keep everything out of the way, and later on the stuff on the back will be trimmed off. All right, guys, so we've got the tack coat on here, and we got the carbon fiber laid out on here. Now the next step is we're going to make up another batch of the epoxy, and we're going to do 3 coats, about 2 hours apart on each coat. So we'll go on ahead and get started. You're laying epoxy, it will have some bubbles that will form, and from my understanding, the way to get rid of the bubbles is you can heat it with a heat gun, or you can use a torch, or you can use some acetone. So initially I was trying the acetone. It worked okay, but I did notice there was some indentations in the epoxy from it when I sprayed it on there. I don't know if it may have been the spray bottle that I was using for it, but towards the end I found that the torch actually worked a little bit better for me on it. So you may want to just play with that and see what works best for you. So I forgot to press record on this part right here a little bit earlier, but towards the last coat of your epoxy is when you want to start cutting out any holes or anything that needs to be trimmed out right here before everything hardens up. So that's what I did. I got it all trimmed out, and then I'm just adding the last coat of the epoxy. Now that everything has dried, what I'm doing is I'm trimming off the excess that I had wrapped around the backs, and then we'll also take a sander with, I believe I had 80 grit sandpaper on there, and we're going to clean up the backs, and we're going to scuff the top of it a little bit. After we're done with that, then we're going to move on to another coat of epoxy. All right, now this is my first attempt at wet sanding my pieces right here. After you wet sand, the next step would be to do a clear coat on these. I found out at this point though that when I was spraying that acetone on these parts here, it was leaving those dimples, and I thought that I could maybe just sand them down and kind of get rid of it, but it just wasn't coming out. So I ended up having to recoat it, and that's when I found out that the torch had worked a little bit better for me than the acetone was working. Alright guys, so I think that'll do it for part 6 of the center console build. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos so far. If you did, please like it and subscribe to the channel. It greatly helps out, and we'll see you on the next one.